Hello guys, and welcome back to Runda Gardens. I am here to show you an in-depth update of where we are so far. We're so close to the finish line. I don't know if you can see behind me, there's already lights in there. I'm so excited to go through and show the complete transformation that Fine Urban Construction and Interiors has been able to achieve on this beautiful property. Let's start with the front face of the house. Looking at it, it might seem a bit, what did you guys really do there? This is one of those areas where houses tend to be a bit uniform, so we wanted to keep true to the aesthetics of the house in this area. But of course, as Fine Urban Construction Interiors, we need to make sure that our projects are recognizable from the outset. Like, you can tell that this is a Fine Urban Construction and Interiors house because of touches like this. Let me walk up closer. A touch like this. This molding work is so beautiful, and I know we can't really film other people's houses, but every house around here does have this detail. But what makes what we've done really stand out is the fact that we've not put in like a plastic or like a wood thing that's going to be on the exterior that will weather and wear as time goes by, and then the client later down the line will definitely have to replace. We've taken that down and we've actually molded this with concrete, meaning it's now stronger and more long wearing, and it's a headache that the client will never even have to think about. She might hear her neighbors or other people talking about like, ours is falling apart, but hers is going to be standing strong. So we have it at the bottom, but we also have it at the top. And the fact that I'm standing here and I'm covered from the sun is another thing that is lacking from some of the other houses in the area. But this is such a practical design that we did. It serves two functions. So for now, I'll talk about what it does for this level. Right behind me is the dining room, which we will go into in a second. But this area out here, we wanted to extend the dining, but like a day like today, the sun is really beating down. If you want to do any outdoor dining during the day, it would be practically impossible. So we've covered that up so that now you have an extension of the dining room that is actually really comfortable to be in, and you are protected from the elements. I'll tell you guys about the second function once we get upstairs, but right over here at the main entrance of the house, all these elements come together to just add on to the impression of the house. And we wouldn't be Fine Urban Construction Interiors if we did not play around with the lighting from the get. So all the steps at this entrance, like here you can see you have a really long step that goes all the way. We will have lights underneath there, but also the steps that you would use if you're coming in from the drive area. Right over here, these actually did not exist as they are right now, but we have made some really nice, beautiful stairs, and we will be including the lights there. And more importantly, they're very comfortable. So now we can head into the house. This is how you would walk in. This would be your main entrance, and you're walking directly into the living room. It's stunning, it's beautiful, it's spacious, it's so light. It's really helped out by the fact that it's really sunny outside, but I can guarantee that once we have all the doors in, it will still feel this light and this airy because we have retained how big that door is, and it is balanced by the window on top, which is also very huge. I love the fact that this house has a lot of large glass windows, which you can see also represented right there, meaning this double volume living room there's no space where it lacks light, where it feels like it's a bit cramped or dark. It is not the biggest living room, but this is how you know that a house has been designed well. If you know you're going to have smaller spaces, make sure that you are thinking about how am I going to allow as much light to pour into that space as possible so that it doesn't feel quite as small as it is. And being here, seeing all the choices that we've made as a company in terms of that, leaving that opening there, and also looking at how The tile has been laid. It is a very nice uniform color, nothing too busy, but it's also not like blank and white. It has a warm tone to it because this is a living room and you do want it to feel warm and cozy. So adding in those caramel and brown tones in the most subtle ways can really go a long way. And as I'm looking at the floor, stunning, well done, and it goes all the way into the dining room. So here we now have the dining room, and you can see why we did feel like we wanted to extend it a little bit further. I can't go much this side because we will be entering the kitchen, but this area would be your dining room. Let's say right from here all the way to over there. So we wanted to give the client more opportunity to relax, so that's why we have expanded to the outside. In here, you can clearly see that we have done the gypsum. We've kept it very, very simple because you can tell that this area has quite low ceilings. So again, you don't want to go with anything too busy because that will actually overwhelm the space. So we've gone with a really nice, simple, clean gypsum design. As always, well done. Our fundis are so excellent. And we have put in our recessed lighting and cove lighting, and I'm just noticing here we have a bit of a shelf. It looks like it's been through it, but this will be a really nice display shelf for this dining room. And speaking of how spaces feel small and how we felt like need for extension, that actually speaks to something to do with the layout. And I feel like I haven't done enough justice for the living room. So our idea for the layout is to have a couple of seats over on this side, have a couple of seats over on that side, and some over on this side so that we're able to put the TV on that wall. But we actually were looking around and we're like, with the current placement, if you're sitting on that end, your view wouldn't be all that great, so what can we do? So we decided the way to solve that issue is by extending this wall just a little bit over to this side so that we can move that TV just a few inches to the side, and that will make the biggest difference. Now let's get into the kitchen. The kitchen has had extensive work, structurally extensive work. And when I tell you guys, this house is borderline unrecognizable, this is one of the main areas that really showcases that. So here we are. We have what feels like a kind of standard kitchen you would see in any fine urban construction and interiors projects. We have before footage, so we will be splicing that in just so you can see the amount of work that's gone in that you might not immediately be obvious as I'm standing here right now. First of all, there was a partition in this area and we took it down because we did want to make it feel more open. And then the kitchen, this wall right here, actually was right here. So it went down right this way, making the kitchen feel much smaller. There's been so much extensive work done structurally in terms of expanding and getting to where we are now. And now you can see we have a really nice large window here. We'll have our sink, and then the world is really our oyster when it comes to where do we put our cabinetry, where do we want the cooking station, where is the refrigerator going to go, where will the oven be. Like, we are now have the freedom to be like, okay, we can give our client one of the best kitchens on the market. And speaking of kitchens, we work with a variety of sizes and a variety of designs. This is all up to the client's budget. There's some special rooms in every project that we do. So your master bedroom, your kitchen, those are some of the major spaces. So we take special care to sit down and talk to the client and be like, okay, what kind of kitchen do you want? What is your budget for that kitchen? So we can really play around and make the best out of the budget that the client has. So let's keep it moving. We are off to the next space, which is voila, right over here. Kind of there's no pauses. You kind of just like, bam, you're right in the bathroom. And that obviously can be quite an issue considering I did say we're gonna have seats on that end. So it's no privacy. If you're trying to go to the bathroom, there's zero privacy. So noticing that that's an issue because we are problem solvers, We do make sure that we're gonna put in some sort of partition, just something to separate the living room from this area so that if you need to use the bathroom, you don't just feel like you're out in the open. And it's small details like that that add to the comfort of the people who will visit this house or the people who live in this house that really, really matter. And that's what we do as Fine Urban Construction and Interiors. We're not just here to do the work and go. Like, we really have to dig deep in terms of creativity and comfort and make sure that we're leaving a product that makes us happy but makes the client even happier. So I am gonna ignore the elephant in the room right over here. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that, I promise. But now let's take a look at one of the first rooms in this property. So over here, we have one of the first rooms. Unfortunately, this is not one of the rooms that we're gonna walk through, but we can get a glimpse of the type of gypsum and lighting we've done in there. But currently, this is where we're storing all our extra tiles and bits and bobs. We will take a look at that as the project goes on. And when I come back for the final reveal, which I hope you guys will be here for, the only way to do that is if you subscribe to the channel. So now we are gonna head up the stairs, and you can see immediately there is wires, meaning that theme you've seen right at the entrance is gonna go through the entire house. We will have lights under each stairs. We completely reconstructed these stairs to make sure that they're comfortable and they're not wonky in any capacity. And as I'm walking up these stairs, I can tell you guys that it is well lit. That light that was pouring into the living room has gently followed me up the stairs, and I have this really airy space. I'll describe several places in this house as airy because of the work that we've done in terms of expanding openings and making sure that there is that crossing of air as it blows throughout the exterior of the house. So here you can see with the windows, might look ordinary, but that is the charm of what we do. It looks like it belongs in this house. These windows look like they belong in this house, but in true form, they actually ended right over there. That's where the windows stopped. And we were like, we don't see why you should limit the amount of light that pours into a crucial space like the staircase. So we've extended those all the way down on all three places. So whether you're going down or you're going up, you have plenty of light. And of course, in the night, with the lights we're gonna have under the stairs, it's still gonna be extra, extra comfortable. And with everything we do, we make sure we're creating balance. You will see that represented as we go throughout the entire house. On the first floor, and this floor is dedicated to bedrooms and family relaxation areas. So one of the main things we want to do in terms of decorating and functionality, over on this side we are going to make a big bookshelf so that you have a nice, neat display. I do love the idea of a bookshelf. It just elevates the space, but also it's very, very practical. So if you're a reader, you're definitely gonna love this idea. And the beauty of this area, again, we're allowing that light to really pour in. It's really just, there's no corner of this house where you're like, where is the window? Where is the light? We have these really large openings. We have the light coming in. It means this space is also well ventilated. And best of all, you get to have an incredible view. I did not touch on the gypsum while we're in the living room because I genuinely didn't want to be down there pointing up. I wanted to be up here where I can even get a better view of what it looks like from up here. And boy, oh boy, it is magnificent. We have the spotlight. It's a really nice, I feel like nice does not quite hit it. It's such an elegant design. It's so simple. I've always admired how we're able to do geometric shapes that could be quite simple and might come across as a bit boring, but do it in such a dynamic way in terms of how we cut out the gypsum and how we place our lighting. And of course, our centerpieces are just out of this world. So as you're now heading to the other side of this floor, we have The family room, so here we want to do the usual. You want to make sure that you have a TV area. You've really considered how many people are going to be using this space. If the whole family decides they want to be here at the same time, we need to think of that and make sure that the seats are all going to be fitting. And of course, with the TV, a family room, you want things that are very, very comfortable. And the idea of the bookshelf, and we're also going to have a study over in this corner. So it does mean that this space is multifunctional. It just means that you have a private area. You can come and study or read a book or simply just relax. So let's take a look at one of the first rooms on this floor. This floor has 2 bedrooms. Here we have the boys' room. We are going to do the standard layout. We'll have our bed in here. We have the nice big windows that I've been raving about, so you can completely open this up. And as I'm looking down there, I'm seeing, a patch of grass, and we do have a lot of plants. I've always bragged about how we do a 360 transformation. So it means no matter where you are in the house, if you're looking outside the window or even looking inside, you're always going to see a fine urban interiors touch, and that's exactly what we've done. So for this room, again, the gypsum, it's been very well done. We've played around here, I can see, with rectangular shapes, and they love how we have this huge centerpiece here, but the corners are like gently sloped. The edges are a bit sharper, but again, so well done. We have the cove lighting in there, and we've gone with a really nice simple chandelier. Not every time something super extravagant, you have to make sure that you know the person who's actually going to be using the room, and if they need anything extravagant or not. We've kept the floors as they were. The client loved their wooden floors. And of course, with anything we do, you have to think about storage. So over on this side, we are going to have the cabinetry over here, and then we have the bathroom. All the rooms are en suite, and you'll see that we've chosen some unique tiles for all the bathrooms. So here you can see all throughout, we have that beautiful textured marble feel tile in the wall. And over on this side, we've gone with something really unique. It has this pebble design with the white and the touches of blue. I do feel that it does feel a bit masculine, and this is where we will have the shower. I'm seeing a provision there for what I'm thinking is going to be the sink, and over there we'll have the toilet bowl. As always, the layouts really matter in terms of the comfort of using the space. So this room also has another perk. We have here a door leading to the outside. And would you believe me if I told you that this entire balcony area is by us? This did not exist. And again, as always, when we do something, you know it's gonna serve 2 functions. So here we've been able to create a balcony, but once we're doing a tour of the exterior and the backyard and the front yard, you'll be able to see how this also has a very, very interesting function downstairs. But here, that room now has an entire balcony, have a couple of seats. If you're a reader, if you want a cup of coffee, this is a nice place to come out and breathe in the fresh air and look up at the blue skies. On to the next room on this floor, and it is the girls' room. Welcome, welcome to the girls' bedroom. I like the uniformity. Immediately, I am struck by how we have kept the gypsum design practically the same as the other room we've seen. There is no need for pizzazz at all times. Sometimes something that's nice and simple is the ideal thing for the spaces you're designing. And this is where I emphasize that you need to work with a company that is actually going to take the time to understand what's best for your space. We all have grand ideas for our spaces. And as a company, we want to come in and give you what you want without actually compromising the aesthetics of the space that you're living in. This house does not have particularly big rooms. It does not have particularly high ceilings. So we would be failing as a company if we came in and were like, okay, we'll do a really funky design with funky lights. It'll completely make this room feel different. But as it is perfect. And when I was talking about what have we managed to do for this room, you might be looking around and wondering, but it is to come. This is yet to come. We have a big window here, which I would be so happy about, so happy if it wasn't gonna keep the girl is going to use this room from having a balcony. So this needs to go. We're getting rid of that and creating a sliding door so that she can actually use the balcony that we've created. So remember when we were downstairs and I was showing you the extension of the dining room? This is the top of that extension, and now it can be made into a fully functional balcony. And this is it's not like a tiny, tiny balcony. It's actually somewhere that I can see would be such a great addition. Like, you have your room, but you also have a private space outside where you can look into the beautiful front yard. I really don't know what more you could ask for. So let's look at the bathroom in this bedroom. Of course, we try to add a unique touch to every room, and often that is represented in the tile. So here we have another bathroom. You can tell, not very big, but it is enough. So it's up to us as a company to come in and give a layout that actually makes sense for the bathroom. So I love the fact that here in this shower area, we have gone with a different colored tile. It's the little touches, man. Like, I really appreciate when I see things like this, because I'm like, no, we did not just buy one color tile and say, just put this in all the bathrooms. Like, our lead designer really sat down and thought, like, okay, like, how can I go above and beyond and create something unique in a space that people would often neglect? It is a bathroom, but who says you don't want beauty in this space? So we do have this beautiful tile here. It's a bit darker. It has more brown tones, more gray tones. And then here we have something that, I don't know if it's translating on camera. This is not white. It is like a really light cream beige color. It has some subtle veining, so you're still continuing that textural feel that you have from this tile. It's a magnificent bathroom. What else can I say? You have your shower there. I'm seeing the provisions for the sink over there. And then over here, I'm seeing the makings of a toilet bowl. Well thought out, well spaced, perfect. I cannot wait to be back here once we're done so I can show you the final product. But we still have so much more to see. Some of you might be yelling, where's the master bedroom? But also, actually, the cabinetry. We will have cabinetry in this room as well. As always, with all the spaces, we will try and maximize on storage and cabinetry. So let's go on up to the next floor. More lights underneath the stairs, more beautiful natural light pouring in from these long windows, creating that symmetry from the exterior. So you know, even when you're on the other side of the house looking at that, it's not gonna feel like, okay, these windows just don't feel like they go together. Those are the type of things that we think of, not only the interior, but the exterior. When you're up here, you have such an excellent view, and we had to make sure that whatever lighting that we're putting to service that area also adds to the aesthetic value. This is giving me such like an industrial feel. It's like industrial meets sci-fi. Like, it's such an interesting chandelier, but it's one of those things that's going to add that aesthetic value and still works very, very well with the ideas that we have for the house and, of course, the client's tastes. So now we're on the top floor. We're on the top floor. My goodness, there's so much to see. On each floor, there's so much to see because there's been so much work. But I'm standing at the entrance of the master bedroom, and I have now stepped into the master bedroom. So there's a certain joy I always get when I walk into master bedrooms that just makes me genuinely, I want to twirl to demonstrate just how big some of these spaces are. This is what dreams are made of. Honestly, for me, give me a big room any day, but give me a big room done by fine urban construction and interiors, because we will know exactly what to do with this space. Big spaces can be challenging. Like, I have seen so many big, beautiful homes in Kenya, but it's just that, like, do we fill it up with couches? Do I get an enormous, enormous bed to fit the space? No, no, no. Let us do it for you. So here, we had to make sure that we have a lot of light coming in, as always. Bedrooms can get stuffy, so we want to avoid that at all costs. And seeing how this house already had big, beautiful windows, we wanted to continue that. But we had to move these windows because this is where we want the headboard to be, so that you're looking on forward to a nice screen TV. And looking at the dimensions, you can tell we are going for a bigger bed. As always, master bedrooms do require bigger beds because that tends to be our client's taste. So we had to make sure that we're not taking away from the light, we're not sacrificing that, but we're able to kind of just shift those windows. And it's those small tweaks that really showcase that we are passionate about what we do. We are passionate about taking care of our clients and making sure that we can come and do these videos confidently without worrying about like, oh no, someone's gonna call us out on that. No, because we know that we're doing high quality work. So with this room, we'll have the bed. I'm pretty sure we're gonna add in a lounge. We're gonna decor this room with lighting and just making sure that every corner that you look at does not feel out of place. So that's another step that where you talk to the client and you find out the needs that they have for the bedrooms. But of course, as always, who doesn't need a big screen TV? We will have a TV here. Keep watching the channel. Make sure you subscribe so that you see when we finally put up that big TV. So for the gypsum here, it does look quite unique, but again, very, very simple. We have the cove lighting, we have the recessed lights, but of course, with a room this big, we are going to need to play around a bit more and see what's gonna happen, because we have to think about the afternoon and the evening. And now let's go on this way. We have another opening. And as always, no master bedroom is complete without a walk-in. Here we have decent size. This is what the client needs, and we will be doing cabinets on either side. But of course, again, to continue with that theme and the shape of the windows that you'll be able to see on this side of the house, we have a really nice elongated window that's allowing light to pour in and also allowing air to come through. But guys, when I'm saying that, I know we're not going to leave it open, but of course it is going to be a functional window, so the client will be able to open it and close it, still allowing that air to kind of come in here and ventilate the space. So going forward, I have not addressed the lighting. Guys, we'll also be including lighting, artificial lighting, natural lighting. We think about all times of the day. So moving on to yet another opening, here we have the master bathroom. There has been so much work done, and when I tell you, I've said this once before I think already, this house is borderline unrecognizable. It's because we have transformed so many spaces. I truly believe that if any of the neighbors were to come into this house, like from the exterior, they might be like, oh yeah, you know, I can see bits and bobs that are fine urban, but you know, it looks like our houses. But once they come inside, it's going to be a completely different experience, and especially in this bathroom. There's been such a massive expansion. So this bathroom initially stopped right here. We had a wall here, and this was your bathroom. This was it. This is where you had to have your shower, your toilet bowl, and your sink, and it is doable. It's very doable. But with family homes and homes people have bought that they plan to live in for the long run, we understand that the addition of those little luxuries that elevate the experience of your life in your home really do go a long way in making you love your home more. And the bathroom is one of those places that I know you think of one thing when you think of a bathroom, but I often think about bubble baths and relaxations and candles and closing the door and finding a space where it's just me and my mind and I'm relaxing. That's what I think of a bathroom. So I do really love it when I'm able to walk into a space like this and be like, we've expanded it, we've added an entire area where we will have the shower, but beyond that, because we're all about going above and beyond, we have added yet a whole other section here. And you might be struck by how immediately I've just been lit up, if it's translating. It's because we actually have a skylight in this area. We have a big open window in this area because we want this to have a big tub. this is where I would live. This is where I'd get my joy. I would go out and buy myself some flowers and sprinkle them in the shower. I would have that full experience here, and I can fully see this bringing so much joy to the client and that extra touch of luxury in your house. So it's not just frivolous. We're not just extending things to say we extended them, but you can see how it's actually going to improve the quality of life. And speaking of quality of life, space planning. We have thought of where we're going to have the sink here, his and hers as always. We've thought about how we're going to have the toilet bowl so that this space at the end of it, once we have in the tiles and the artificial lights, is going to be as glamorous as any of the other bathrooms you've seen us do in all of our projects. But are we done? We're not done yet, guys. There's still more to see. It's all about more and more and more. So we have yet another opening. This master bedroom has quite the number of openings. So here we have the master balcony. It does wrap around the entire master bedroom, but as always, we have to make it functional. It would be easy to throw in a couple of chairs and be like, yeah, that's a functional balcony, but we want to make a full experience. Now think if you're having like a big game, like the World Cup just ended, so I can see if the lady of the house is like, I'm trying to watch my soaps downstairs, but there's a really big game. This is going to be an area where either one of them could come and have a private space. We are going to add a TV there and also extend this roofing over so it is providing some type of shade if you do want to use it during the day. And as we keep on moving all around, I did say this wraps around. I love that you can get tiny glimpses into the room as you go through. Yeah, so we are now on the other side of the master bedroom. We have another balcony here, which we do want to make like a lounge or relaxation area. All these spaces will serve that function. It's leisure, leisure, leisure. Like that's all we want to create. You already have enough spaces in the house that are meant for work. So outside, we want you to just enjoy nature, relax, and think about nothing. And speaking of work, there we go. Oh, these are so smooth, guys, so smooth. We have that sliding door here. I have another space here that I didn't talk about as we came up the stairs. This is a workspace. So this will be a mini office. It's up to us to look at what cabinetry is needed, what kind of furniture we're going to put into this space to make it still feel functional. Functional is a key word, but also flexible because it's so tricky. With spaces like this, if you choose the wrong size furniture, you've actually ruined the entire experience because whether it's you're trying to work or read something, if you're uncomfortable, your brain is not going to be able to focus on anything. So as the project goes on, we'll be back and I'll show you how we would have fully customized this area to fit its function. And of course, just because it's a functional space does not mean that we don't want to inject that sense of beauty. And that's why with the gypsum design here, we have gone with something that's a bit more dynamic because generally this space is going to remain pretty simple. And you can see we have the electrics done, so all we have to do is just put in those lights to complete that area. And I think that wraps up the interior of the house. So I think let's go back downstairs and let's take a look at what's going on the outside. So for this main area, you can see patches of grass. We are going to retain that and make sure that this is purely green because the kids do need somewhere they can play and feel safe and not scratch their knees too much. But over there is the adults play area, I would say. Anytime we add a gazebo, I always see the adults throwing a shindig and inviting their friends over, and that's the function of spaces like this. So we are going to keep it pretty much open by only using a lot of glass and a lot of aluminum, and then the top cover is not going to be solid either. It is going to be see-through. We will have a fireplace in this area and a TV, meaning we'll set this entire place up with some comfortable seats so that if a client is having guests over and they just want to have a bit of an outdoor situation. They have a very comfortable area to do that. And what makes it even better is the fact that they still don't have to go to the main house. They don't. The bathrooms are right here, but because we want to create that privacy, we have made sure that the doors are on the other side, so far away where you don't feel like everyone's looking at you when you need to use the bathroom. What makes this area even better is the fact that we went ahead, we went above and beyond. I think that should be our motto, above and beyond, and added in a barbecue area. Because what is a good party without a barbecue? So as usual, we are going to create a space that is not only the barbecue area, but it is going to be an outdoor kitchenette. So you can do the prep of those snacky foods or just heat up food so that these two spaces work well together. Moving on, we have a door that is leading to what seems to be a very secretive area of this property, but it's not really, because this is simply where the SQs are. You have an area where you can do your laundry and another area where you can access the kitchen. We identified the need for a separate space where you could have your storage so that you don't have to take away any space from a house that already does not feel all that big. It does not have that space to spare. So having a place that is nice and tucked away at the back of the house where you can put in all those things that you don't necessarily want to be taking up space in the house, that's what we built this for. So of course, to make storage more organized, we are going to get in there and do all that cabinetry work, and of course add in the light. Now, the balcony that we created for that room upstairs is actually what works as this entire area that you're seeing, and that's what I mean by multi-functionality. So next, space, the car parking area slash car wash area. The reason we thought it necessary to add a little bit of a structural expansion in this area is because we are thinking of the times where it might rain and you don't want your client to have to walk out the car and do that little jog into the house, try and get away from the rain. We want them to have the comfort and the leisure of being able to drive up, park their car, and just easily walk into the house, because we are going to provide the shade here, and of course with that will come the wonderful lighting so that no matter what time of day it is, this area is well lit. But as I said, we are also going to create provisions so this can also function as a car washing area. So from here, heading all the way down to the beginning where the main gate is, all the way down here, down this little slope, we are now at the main gate. With all this space, we've also thought about parking. Like, it is 2023 and a lot of people want parking for big cars. So when we are looking at this expansion and why we've decided to take this all the way up there is because we're considering, let's say for instance, the client has two big cars that need to be here at all times, but they might have guests who also have big cars. So we want to make sure that this comfortably fits 4 big cars. So from here, heading all the way up, if ever you're having that little shindig we were talking about earlier with the adults, they can have their cars within the compound and know that everything is completely safe. Another thing that we're getting rid of, we do love a beautiful cabro, but we are always innovating and looking for new ways to change up the aesthetics of the properties that we do. So we're completely getting rid of the cabro, and we are going to be playing around with cement. To be honest with you guys, I have not seen us do that in any other property, so I am so excited to see what that looks like, what the end product is going to be like, because when I stand here and I say, hey, we're just going to use concrete, it does sound a bit like, does that really sound like a good idea? But I guarantee you, if you follow this journey, I will be back to do the final reveal. We'll both be here to see and appreciate the beauty of what Fine Urban Construction and Interiors has done. 2023 is the year of big transformation. So if you want to keep up with all the exciting, massive, futuristic properties that we are going to be transforming this year, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our channel at Fine Urban Construction and Interiors. But you can also find us on all other social media platforms. So Facebook, Twitter, we're on Instagram, TikTok, all at Fine Urban Construction and Interiors. And if you have any inquiries, if you're interested in working with us, we do have an email, we have a website, we have a number, and we do have offices. So we have a vast array of ways for you guys to be able to reach us.